Understanding baking powder and its usage in baking. Baking powder is a leavening agent commonly used in baking to help baked goods rise and achieve a light and fluffy texture. It consists of a combination of an acid, usually cream of tartar, and a base, usually baking soda, which react together when mixed with moisture and heat, releasing carbon dioxide gas. This gas causes the dough or batter to expand, resulting in a rise in the finished product. Here's how to use baking powder effectively in your baking. 1. Ingredients. Baking powder, flour, other dry ingredients as per your recipe. 2. Determine quantity. Check your recipe to see how much baking powder is required. The amount needed can vary depending on the type and quantity of ingredients used. 3. Combine dry ingredients. In a mixing bowl, combine the dry ingredients called for in your recipe, including flour and any other dry ingredients such as sugar, salt, or spices. 4. Add baking powder. Measure out the required amount of baking powder according to your recipe and add it to the dry ingredients. Use a whisk or fork to thoroughly mix the baking powder into the dry ingredients. 5. Mix wet ingredients. In a separate bowl, combine the wet ingredients called for in your recipe, such as eggs, milk, oil, or water. 6. Combine wet and dry ingredients. Pour the wet ingredients into the bowl with the dry ingredients. Use a spatula or wooden spoon to gently mix the ingredients together until just combined. Be careful not to overmix, as this can result in a tough or dense texture. 7. Bake immediately. Once the batter or dough is mixed, it's important to bake it immediately. The chemical reaction between the acid and base in the baking powder begins as soon as they come into contact with moisture, so you'll want to get your baked goods into the oven promptly to ensure they rise properly. 8. Bake as directed. Preheat your oven to the temperature specified in your recipe. Transfer the batter or dough to the appropriate baking dish or pan and place it in the oven. Bake your goods according to the time and temperature instructions in your recipe. Keep an eye on them as they bake to ensure they don't overcook or burn. 9. Check for doneness. To test if your baked goods are done, insert a toothpick or cake tester into the center. If it comes out clean or with a few crumbs clinging to it, the baking is done. If the toothpick comes out with wet batter, continue baking for a few more minutes before testing again. 10. Enjoy your baked goods. Once your baked goods are fully cooked, remove them from the oven and allow them to cool slightly before serving. Enjoy the light and fluffy texture that baking powder helps to achieve. By following these simple steps, you can effectively use baking powder as a leavening agent in your baking, resulting in delicious and perfectly risen baked goods every time.